when you meditate, the mind state that you achieve while you're sitting still with your legs in a certain position, can you maintain that same mind state while you're moving? And that's what Tai Chi is trying to do. It's trying to take that meditation mind and then say, now can I take that and move for 5 minutes and keep that same mind state while I'm moving in motion for 5 minutes or more?
If I try it for the first time, I have to be aware of my body. I have to be aware of the gravity. I have to also enjoy the movement. And where my mind is going is I always think about connecting the dots and analogies. This can actually, if you practice it, it can help you also enjoy life, because in life you also have to be present. You have to be aware. You have to be focused, and you have to be also adaptable to what's happening with, different forces that, in this case, affect your body in life, affect us personally, mentally.
A lot of people are just so, they just have in such disbelief. We want them to do it, and then they go like, well, do I need to be at a class? Do I need to be here? Do I need to be there? And one of the things that I love about what you do is you teach them a particular form that they can then go practice at home.
You have to adjust your workout to what your body is capable of, right? So if you're, a 60-year-old person, you should know that you can't do what you did when you were a 25-year-old. You have to adjust how you do things. So this type of practice, as you get older, you actually get better at it. Whereas if you're practicing, certain other kind of physical activities, as you get older, you'll probably decline in the skills, because your body can't do the same thing as your peak. Whereas in Tai Chi, your peak is actually older. So it's more like a aging something, so that the older it gets, the better it gets.
Welcome to Polish Your Life. Today, we're going to talk about Tai Chi, as we are giving you tips on how to improve your health or the health of your patients. Very exciting interview today because we have special people. As always, I'm looking forward to the questions that you will have. And Ryan, tell us, who do we have here today and why everybody should pay attention?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm super excited because I have the privilege of being able to sit here with Frank Neely, I should say Master Frank Neely, who I get the pleasure of working with every day. He's a fantastic acupuncturist who's been practicing for a long time. He gets incredible results on the acupuncture front, but he is also an incredible Tai Chi instructor. And that's the main thing we wanted to talk about today, because it's an area that we don't recommend to our patients enough as healthcare providers. It's something that many people can do, and we wanted to get into it and talk a little bit about what it is, who it's good for, and how it can be a huge adjunct to a healthy lifestyle. So Frank, thank you for being here, and we're super excited to have you.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate you all having me here.
Yeah. So give us a quick little background first, maybe, Frank. When did you start learning Tai Chi, and when did you start teaching it?
Started learning Tai Chi when I was in acupuncture school. It was part of our curricula. So that was probably, I think, about 99, 98. So I started back then. And then as I studied longer and longer, I met a new teacher, and then things kind of went to another level then. And then I started to teach in 2007.
Yeah. Fantastic. So long history of experience doing this. And so for those people that are watching this that have heard of Tai Chi, but they don't really know what it is and how it differs from some of the other, martial arts or, movement therapies, can you give us kind of an overview of what Tai Chi is? And let's just start there. Let's start with kind of like, what is it?
Well, basically, it's a series of movements, and you usually practice this in a slow, relaxed, smooth, and even fashion. And there's different lengths to the series of movements, and they're usually called postures. So originally there were 13 postures. So you do these postures in a slow, kind of gradual motion to learn this movement. The movement originally was a martial art. So as you practice more and more, there's higher levels that you can go. And if you go to the higher levels, then eventually you focus on the martial arts aspect of Tai Chi. But it's a long road. So just in the beginning, there's a lot of benefits that you can gain before you get to the kind of martial art mastery of it as well.
So basically what you're saying is Tai Chi is essentially a movement therapy that is in the martial arts family, and as you move up in your experience, it becomes more of it can become a fighting style if you so choose, or it can just be a movement therapy. And so one of the things that you were just alluding to is the benefits of having a Tai Chi practice or doing it every day. And yeah, so just expand on that a little bit for us.
Yeah, so these movements, they're kind of simple when you look at them, but when you actually learn them, they're very complex, and they use different parts of our bodies that we don't normally use. So you're developing some new strengths and a new sense of balance in your body. So this is totally new from how we normally do movements. And to achieve that, you have to do certain things. Basically, the movements have to be done by relaxing. So usually our exercises, you're usually flexing and extending, and you're putting a lot of muscular power into the movements, where this particular form of movement, you're trying to relax those muscles. So usually we are too tense in our muscles. So this is trying to achieve the opposite. So you use relaxation to achieve the goals of Tai Chi. And that's not only physical relaxation, but actually relaxing your mind and even neurological system. So you're training your neurology to respond to stimuli in a different way. So then that translates into your whole life as well.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Fantastic. And one of the things that we see, because it's something that you can translate to your whole life, you can also practice it for your whole life, right? I mean,
Exactly.
what most people know of Tai Chi is what they might see in a clip in a movie, or if you walk past, Central Park in New York City, and you see a lot of, elderly people doing.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about the fact that, here you are, a young man doing Tai Chi, and then you have these, you have elderly people that are practicing this on a daily basis. Talk about that just life practice and what that means and why it's important.
The normal exercise that most people do are usually high impact, right? So as you get older in life, you have to adjust your workout to what your body is capable of, right? So if you're, a 60-year-old person, you should know that you can't do what you did when you were a 25-year-old. You have to adjust how you do things. So this type of practice, as you get older, you actually get better at it. Whereas if you're practicing, certain other kind of physical activities, as you get older, you'll probably decline in the skills, because your body can't do the same thing as your peak. Whereas in Tai Chi, your peak is actually older. So it's more like a aging something, so that the older it gets, the better it gets.
That's super interesting. And does that have to do with, the relationship of what you were just describing with the high impact versus more of a low impact, and kind of letting yourself, letting your body relax versus trying to tense it up to do things? Or is there something else that kind of that you're pointing to there?
So one of them is, like, say, the neurological part, right? So to retrain your nervous system, it takes a long time, because you're programmed to your whole life until this point, unless you've been doing Tai Chi. So to rewrite that takes a really, really long time, kind of like with meditation. If you meditate for, 30 minutes and you do it 4 times a month, that's going to have a different impact on your neurology than if you did it, 15 minutes every day for a month. So it's kind of the same as Tai Chi. If you practice these arts over time, the way your brain reacts to stimuli changes, and it needs time to build up. So once you achieve that, though, then it's kind of like they have a lot of research that shows, like, your blood pressure will be in a stable, normal range, or heart rate. And it can even help like your sleep, stress and anxiety, all these different types of things like that. And for the physical aspects, it also can increase your bone density. So like for elderly people, if you practice every day, eventually the bone density will build up over time, because the way that you use the stances in Tai Chi strengthens your bones, but that will take time. So as you get more into it, then these health benefits start to show up later as you practice.
And Frank, I had a question about how to incorporate Tai Chi because we have healthcare provider watching. So if we have healthcare providers who are thinking, hey, that would be a really good addition to the rehab protocol that I'm using, or to a therapy that I'm using, whether it's for bone density, like you mentioned, maybe that's going to be because they want to reduce stress. And with the stress reduction, anxiety goes down, everything improves faster, and the healing just shows up on multiple different levels. So let's say the healthcare provider watching, they're thinking, okay, that sounds really cool to have Tai Chi as part of the protocol. What's the best way for them? And let's say some of the people are not going to be close to you. They may be a little far. Let's say somebody's in California watching this. What would you tell to them? How do they actually implement Tai Chi if maybe they don't know any instructor who is going to be able to help them? What's the best step?
What I would say is, you want to check to see online first. And you can usually some instructor might have some information that you can read, and you can read about their level of experience and how they describe their practice. And you may be able to see their video. And then, you can just contact them and ask them these specific questions that you're interested in providing to your patients there, and then see if they're able to integrate their knowledge into what you're seeking for your clients.
What would be a good question in case somebody has no idea? Because obviously, how long do you practice? Basically, in other words, how good are you? So I know I can trust you as a provider with my patients, but how, what do you have like 3 recommended questions that somebody who is just Googling Tai Chi instructor in my area, who the questions they can ask that person and the answers to expect?
I would say you should, of course, ask how long have you been studying and instructing? And I would say usually with Tai Chi, you want the person to have over 5 years of studying at least. And usually there is the better the teacher, usually you have a lineage with some other teachers before yourself. So then if you find someone who has that will definitely be someone who has a good level of experience. Also, I would ask them, do they have experience with teaching different age ranges? So sometimes, I teach kids and sometimes I teach elderly people. So you want to have the range that, you're looking for what you're going to integrate into your practice. And then lastly, I would ask them, do they have experience in instructing people with different types of health issues? So, I sometimes teach Tai Chi to cancer patients who are going through different therapies. So then that you have to tailor the class to them, or it could be a class for someone who has some type of musculoskeletal problem. So then maybe they can't raise their arm at the height that is the standard motion of the Tai Chi move. So am I going to be able to adjust the practice to their level of what they can do? So you want to make sure they're able to do that.
Got it. Thank you. And that's very good for people to have, maybe questions and answers that are obvious to you because that's your world. But for some people, that will be a good start to maybe incorporate Tai Chi in their practice. So thanks for that. And I wanted to bounce back to Ryan because you work together, right? So I wanted to also ask you about the aspect of Tai Chi that I didn't know about, that I just found out preparing for the video today. As I'm learning, Tai Chi literally is for all ages, but also for all health conditions. Even if somebody is on a wheelchair, they can practice Tai Chi. So to me, that was very interesting, fascinating, very hopeful for a lot of people watching, because if you know somebody who maybe is missing sports, martial arts, some sort of movement, and maybe they're on a wheelchair and they are losing hope they feel terrible. Tai Chi may be one of the things that helps them. So I wanted to ask Ryan, when you get patients, you welcome them in the practice, and then you tailor the program together with Frank, what would be the response from people about Tai Chi, and what are the surprises that they get? Say, oh, I didn't know I can do Tai Chi. I didn't know this is good for this or that. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I mean, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it too, Frank. But what I find is that most people just don't know what it is, and that's the first hurdle you have to get over. It, you know, oh, what I don't know, I don't even know what that means, right? So the first thing we have to do is explain that this is something that basically, like you said, Mike, anybody can do this. It's just a matter of, everyone wants to know what's the most impact that I can have, right? And so, a lot of times you get people and they want to run or they want to, cycle, but some people can't. And if you're at a place in your movement where and this is coming from kind of a healthcare, practice. So if I have patients that all they're doing is walking, which is great, I'm glad that they're walking, but walking is the same movement. You're not getting any different, your body's not having to adjust. It's not having to balance itself in different ways. And so Tai Chi provides this much more vast, integrated stimulus for the body that, and the mind. When you walk, you can be pretty mindless, where when you're doing Tai Chi, there's a component of it that is very focused. And so, talk a little bit about the logistics and kind of how that works, Frank, because a lot of people are just so, they just have in such disbelief. We want them to do it. And then they go like, well, do I need to be at a class? Do I need to be here? Do I need to be there? And one of the things that I love about what you do is you teach them a particular form that they can then go practice at home. So talk about, that, and how much space do they need? What kind of movements are they actually going to be doing, so that people get kind of a feel for what we're actually talking about?
Great. Yeah. So one thing I want to say is, one, you just asked about the space, right? So I want to just answer that real quick. I like to do Tai Chi every day. It's like a certain kind of goal I have. So I try to do a little bit every day. So even if you were in like a hotel room, you can do it. So that's the minimum space. It's like, that's as small as it can be. And then, anyone, no matter what your movement level is, for example, he mentioned wheelchairs. If someone is in a wheelchair, you can do Tai Chi. So wherever you're at is enough of where you can start. That's good enough right there. Wherever you're at is good enough. You can start right there. So whatever you can do with your arms and your legs, we can start there and build on that. And then over time, you're going to be doing something that you're not doing. So then you're going to get better at it over time. So whatever your movement limitation is, if we practice moving more, eventually you're going to be able to do more than you can do now. So there's always a place to begin with that as well.
You've talked about how it's postural and there's a lot of smoothness and kind of relaxation in the muscles as you're moving. And so there's kind of a smoothness to the routine, right? There's,
right. Yes.
So why is that valuable? What does that actually do for the individual by having that kind of smoothness of movement and the focus to do that?
Great. So one, to develop the smoothness, like you mentioned, you have to have a certain kind of focus. So there's a mental mindfulness component to this. Okay. So this is mindfulness coming into your physical activities and how you move through space. So you have to have a certain kind of mental intention that's going to guide the way you decide to move. Okay. And then once you try to do that to achieve the certain type of movement, you want to be smooth, because by being smooth, your muscles can relax and you can have full circulation, full oxygen flow. Your nerve system will flow more optimally if your muscles are relaxed and in a certain position that makes them optimal. So it's kind of like if the human had an optimal way of moving, this is theoretically supposed to be that. And the smoothness of that is based on a theory. And part of the theory is to move like water. right? So your body is mostly made up of liquid. So these movements are mirroring moving like a liquid. When all animals, at least usually, they're in a placenta, which is water. So usually all of the mammals are in a placenta, and your first months are in water. So that's kind of a natural movement as well to life. So then you want to be smooth because you're imitating this water-like motion.
Yeah.
You know, Frank, what you mentioned about the smoothness and kind of like moving like you are in water, what I'm thinking about is it's kind of like you need to be really aware of your body, aware of gravity. And by the way, I've never tried it, so I'm very curious what my experience is going to be. But what I'm trying to imagine is if I try it for the first time, I have to be aware of my body. I have to be aware of the gravity. I have to also enjoy the movement. And where my mind is going is I always think about connecting the dots and analogies. This can actually, if you practice it, it can help you also enjoy life, because in life, you also have to be present. You have to be aware. You have to be focused, and you have to be also adaptable to what's happening with, different forces that, in this case, affect your body in life, affect us personally, mentally, physically, you know what I mean? So is this something that you feel like could be a tool also to also help people go through challenges through life, or am I going too far?
No, definitely. This can help with challenges through life because, like I said, Tai Chi, even though it's mostly known now for health benefits, it is also a martial art. So part of the martial arts aspect that you get in the health element is that you're training your mind to stay relaxed under stress. So in the martial arts world, in Tai Chi, my masters come from a security company in China. So they had to transport gold and officials between different provinces, and they would be attacked by people. So they had to know how to use Tai Chi to fight for their lives.
Wow.
So under those circumstances, are you able to stay relaxed and calm while someone is trying to attack you? If you can do that, then imagine how relaxed and calm you'll be in like a board meeting or in traffic, or your kids are having a problem. You'll be able to have that calmness as more of a normal state of how you are.
I love it. I love it.
People are going to watch and they're going to go, well, why should I do Tai Chi versus blank, or in addition to blank? So I wanted to maybe kind of throw a couple of comparisons with other movement therapies out and see if you could just differentiate and or talk about the benefit of the integration in some ways. For example, like if the one that comes up the most frequently is Tai Chi versus yoga. If I'm somebody that's never done Tai Chi before, what should I be thinking of in comparison to yoga, and why would I do one versus the other?
All right. Well, one is that yoga, the postures are you're tensing the muscles, right? So in Tai Chi, you're trying to relax the muscles. So if you're looking for something that's going to help relaxation, then this is the goal of what you're trying to do. Is even in the muscular use, it's being used in a way to relax, whereas you're not flexing and holding something to cause tension. You're actually relaxing the muscles. So say you have pain or discomfort, then this will help you relax more than the yoga class could do. Because of that, mentally, we're always focusing on relaxing as well. So then for mental health benefits, Tai Chi can be more beneficial for relaxation, because that's all the movements are also focusing on relaxing your mind at that very moment. And that's always part of the motion as well.
Yeah, and I think it depends. There's a lot of yoga studios that would probably claim something similar, but the vast majority of especially Americanized yoga is much more like physical and workout oriented, as opposed to the way you're describing Tai Chi. So it does. You could find it, but it's just harder to find, right?
And
What
Frank,
about-
we always try, if it's only possible, we always try to integrate, right? Connect, integrate, if it makes sense, if it's possible, if it's easy to do. How would you integrate? So, for example, I don't typically like to see one versus the other,
Yeah, I
but I'm
agree.
like one and the other. So, for example, somebody loves yoga. How can they and why should they implement Tai Chi? I think you answered the second one. Why should they? Because it also helps you relax the muscles. And also, let's talk about the meditation, because that's another thing that I think Tai Chi may be compared to. So, how to integrate Tai Chi with yoga and also with meditation?
There's three things that are the key elements of Tai Chi movements. One is, they call it Shen, which they translate as spirit, but I would call it eye consciousness, what your eye is conscious of. And then the second is E, which is your mind's intention. And the last is the Qi. So Qi is the energy that flows within your body. So each and every movement of Tai Chi, your eye is focused on a particular thing and your mind is focused on a separate thing. And those different polarities guide your movement. It would be similar to if you think of playing golf. When you're playing golf, the ball is on the tee and your eye consciousness is focused on the ball. That would be your Shen and Tai Chi. But your mind, what we call the E, is actually focused on the whole. So you have two separate things at the same time that you're focusing on. One is what you're looking at, but your mind is actually focused on the whole. And then your intention creates a reaction, and then the energy flows through your body to hit the ball to go to what your mind is focusing on. And that is the way Tai Chi works in all the movements. So every time you move, your eye is looking somewhere, but your mind is thinking of this next place. And then that triggers your body to flow to that next movement. So it's a very precise mind training as well. So that's a key component that people might not know about that. Whereas in yoga class, that's not so much a detail that is focused on. Whereas in Tai Chi practice, that is actually one of the main essential details of the practice.
I'm going to jump in the integration piece of this. So would you be opposed, Frank, to saying something like the training that you get through Tai Chi can actually improve your yoga practice and vice versa?
Yes. So say, for example, what I was just talking about with the eye focus. So in yoga, I've studied with some really great yoga masters who are from India, who study with Iyengar like as they grew up, but they didn't really focus on teaching like what your eye is supposed to focus on every second, and then where your mind is supposed to focus, and then the transition between the two. So that may be a element that's missing from a lot of yoga practitioners' practice, but it actually is an essential part that may have just been less focused over time, and now is something that's not talked about so much. So if you practice Tai Chi, you'll notice that will change your yoga practice in the way you focus your eyes and your mind about how you move from one yoga posture to the next posture will start to flow more fluidly.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point, that there's this area that you focus on in each practice, whether it's yoga or meditation or Tai Chi, that highlights that particular practice and allows you to see the other practice in a slightly different way. And so, if you're a yoga practitioner and you do a little bit of Tai Chi, it may open up something for you in a way that maybe, you weren't opened up in before. It's kind of, the same way, like if you were going to play, baseball one season and basketball another season and football another season, each sport gives you different body movements that help to enhance your ability in the other sport, even though you're not doing the exact same thing over and over.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
What about meditation? So if you we're talking about yoga and Tai Chi and the integration, and I can absolutely see how they both go hand in hand. Now with meditation, what is your perspective on it? With meditation and Tai Chi, do we do one after the other? Can we almost do like both at the same time? Is that even possible if you're supposed to be so conscious and focused?
It's actually all of those, you know. So it's like my practice for my personal self, the way my schedule is that I do Tai Chi, and then at the end I do meditation and yoga. But when I do Tai Chi, your mind is in the same state as meditation in Tai Chi, or that's the goal of what you want to do. So think of it this way. When you meditate, the mind state that you achieve while you're sitting still with your legs in a certain position, can you maintain that same mind state while you're moving? And that's what Tai Chi is trying to do. It's trying to take that meditation mind and then say, now can I take that and move for 5 minutes and keep that same mind state while I'm moving in motion for 5 minutes or more? So they overlap, and it's kind of like if you're going to meditate, it's going to help your Tai Chi, and if you do Tai Chi, it's going to enhance your meditation. So they go kind of together. And usually, traditionally, a Tai Chi master would also be part of being a meditation master as well.
Yeah, I was just going to say the time
and a yoga master.
Yeah. You know, the time in life when I know for personally, when I did the most meditation was also the time that I was doing the most Tai Chi. And it was just for the same exact thing. You know, one practice can become very monotonous. And so by being able to break it up with the same family, you know, the same intention and the same, you know, awareness, it helps you to stay focused longer. And then that would allow me to actually meditate longer because I was mixing in Tai Chi and then being able to find myself that I could sit with focus much longer because I wasn't just doing, I'm just push yourself longer. There was actually a release that came with bringing the Tai Chi into the picture that was really fantastic. So yeah, that's a great point that you made there.
And talking about time, because nobody has time and everybody wants to devote their time to something that actually matters for their life, for their health, right? So talking about Tai Chi, we talked about why people should do it, the health benefits, how to integrate with some other practices that I may love and people watching this may love. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. How much time do I have to start practicing Tai Chi? Are we talking about like 90 minutes every day, an hour every day? What would you say would be a good moment to start? How much time?
You know, the time really depends on what level you want to go to is one. So, you know, there's, if you want to be like a Tai Chi fighting master, you're going to have to put in a lot more hours. But if you just want to learn something to help out, to integrate into what you're already doing, what I recommend is, you know, you need to take the classes so you can learn the movements that make up the postures. And once you learn that, you can do it on your own and you don't have to go to the class so frequently. You can just go to have your teacher make sure you're doing it right. And then you do it on your own. And once you reach that level, you know, I would say you could even just do 10 minutes a day as long as you did it every day.
Really?
So just 10 minutes, but you do it every single day is great. It's going to be great. So at first you might not think it's so great, but if you did that for like 3 months, think about after that, you did every day for 3 months, things are going to start to change. And you're going to be, oh my God, I only do it for 10 minutes, but after 3 months, I can really tell that all these new things are happening in my body and the way I feel is different.
Very cool. Is this also coming with maybe a little bit of a risk? Like, let's say I have no idea how to do it. And I heard you very clearly, because people may misunderstand it a little bit and they may think, okay, I will just watch a YouTube video. And after a YouTube video, all I need is 10 minutes per day. What you said is learn and make sure that the instructor confirms that you're moving the correct way. Then you do it on your own for 10 minutes and still have probably a periodic look if you're not too creative having your own form. So is there any risk? Let's say somebody watches a YouTube video, how to practice Tai Chi. They want to start. They are not ready to move on to a full-blown class, right? and they start, can they hurt themselves? Is there something to look out for, or maybe one or two poses that say, hey, try Tai Chi overall, but never try these on your own? What would be your advice?
I would say there's no posture that is going to be a basic thing that someone's doing that I would say never do this if you have this problem. If you're learning like a how-to video of Tai Chi, I would think that there wouldn't be any of those postures that are going to be that way. But what I would say is that, the person making the video might not say this, so then I'll say this now. Just do it at your level. You should not have any pain doing Tai Chi. It should be something that's relaxed. So there should be no pain involved. So whatever the level of what your body can do is what you should do. And if the person in the instructional video is doing something that your body can't do, then only do what you're capable of doing.
Very good. And thank you for that. I think it's important to ask these questions that a lot of people don't think about, but then I'm always thinking about the person's health, right? So we are doing that to help people, and then somebody's going to get excited and they can make a big mistake. So I think that's a very valuable tip, is when you're doing Tai Chi and you're screaming from pain, you're not exactly relaxing, and you probably should reconsider if you're doing it the right way. So that's very good. Ryan, maybe ask Frank some of the questions that people ask you about Tai Chi, because I know you talk to so many patients, and I'm very curious what other people want to know.
Yeah, I think the biggest question that I get when people ask, when I recommend it, that they should go to Frank's class, is, well, I have pain when I walk, you know what I mean? I have a lot of trouble doing any exercise. So is this gonna make it worse when I go to the class? Because a lot of the people that I recommend this to are either, it's because they can't do something else, and we're using this as kind of a bridge, but hopefully and secretly, I hope that they really love it and they just continue to do it, but it's often a bridge. In healthcare, people come in because they have a pain, they have something that's wrong with them, they have an internal medicine issue. And so they'll ask, well, I can't do X, Y, Z. Is it even worth me doing it? And we've kind of talked about it a little bit, and you've already kind of said yes, but what would you say to that patient when they say, I get pain after 15 minutes of walking, so why is this going to be different?
I would say to them that, when you're practicing this, if you have issues that, give you pain in such a short amount of time, then the practice really has to be tailored to what you can do. And I would have to see what their limits are. Just say, what can you show me how you move to walk? And what's the level of pain when you walk 10 feet? And I would just have to actually see them and kind of see where they're at. And then when they're doing the movements, I'm going to make sure that I do it in a way that is what your legs and knees and hips are capable of doing. So just do whatever you can do while you're feeling good would be the main thing,
And then the follow-up question is usually, well, if I'm only going to the point of, not pushing myself, how much benefit is there really? Is it really worth it for me to do that? And, we know what the answer is, but why don't you?
Well, I think that, if someone is really not doing anything but walking, just starting something new is taking it to the next level right there. So if you just keep up with that, it's going to lead to you being able to do more than you can do if you just were only walking. So you're already taking it to the next level by doing that. So that's a start right there. And then we can build on that.
And Frank, tell us maybe a story, like a Tai Chi success story, like we have chiropractic success story, acupuncture success story. I'm really curious if you could give us one that would be Tai Chi / integrative holistic health story, because you're part of Holistic Health Office, right? Holistic Health Associates. You work with other providers, so it's very rarely just one thing that people are doing. I'm very curious what you're going to say if you were to pick one patient You don't have to say and probably you shouldn't say the patient's name,
Yeah,
but
I can't.
if you can let us know, hey, this is what happened to one of the patients, and then somebody can figure out, hey, could it happen to my patients as well, which is kind of cool. So share a story with us, please.
So I had someone I was teaching Tai Chi, and they were injured in the Air Force, and they had some damage to their feet and legs. So they weren't really able to do a lot of, physical sports type of things. So when we started to do Tai Chi, they didn't think that they could do it because of the way that their feet and legs worked. But I told them that it's just about balance. So whatever you're able to do is going to be okay to do. And then after we started to do a few classes, then they were able to do something, and they started to see, oh my God, now I can actually do something where before I thought that I couldn't do anything. So then it kind of just changed their whole outlook, and they felt like they were actually doing something that they were proud of doing now, because before they thought that they weren't physically capable of really doing anything except just walking around.
That's so awesome. And it's also transferring to life situations, because again, I'm always having that, I'm actually thinking about the analogy that you mentioned. You talked about golf, right? And Tai Chi, how you're focusing, your eye goes to one place, then your mind is on another place, and then you also use energy to get to that other place, even though your eyes are on something else. So the balance and the dance between these three elements, yes, I find it extremely helpful for life, yes, and especially for health. Because look at us, we are talking, three people talking about life improvement, health improvement. We have somebody on the other side, whether they're a provider or a patient, but they're focusing on the outcome, which is, hey, I want to feel better. I want to be this person. I want to shape my body this way. I want to get back to this stage, right? So I'm focusing on that point. I'm talking about, the hole, right? In the golf example. Then my eyes are focusing on the tee and the ball, right? Because I want to hit the ball. So step one, I got to do this. I know I have to do this first. I know I have to go. Which one of these things is going to be Tai Chi, we hope. Tai Chi, chiropractic, acupuncture, physical therapy, going to this doctor. It's a little tough, but your eye is focusing on this. Then we have your mind focusing on the outcome. And a lot of people forget about giving enough energy to get to the outcome, which I think is an amazing way of the integration of Tai Chi principles to life. And I just wanted to thank you for bringing it up, because I think a lot of people forget about it, that it is normal to have the outcome and your focus in your mind somewhere else, but you still have to hit that ball for that ball to get there. And I think a lot of people get impatient because they want the ball to be there already, and they give up. So I want to give everybody watching this, whether you're a provider, maybe thinking about your tough case, tough patient, and they're not getting to the outcomes you want. Maybe there's a missing element. Maybe it's Tai Chi. Maybe it's something else. But I want to encourage all the people watching to consider putting enough energy and have the right points of focus to make sure that our patients and also, the individuals watching this, that they're improving. And I want to encourage everybody to just remember that Tai Chi analogy from Frank Neely. And if people want to find you, Frank, I know where you are, but I think some people may not know where you are. So which office are you in and which location?
I'm here in Frederick, Maryland at Holistic Health Associates. So you can find me there, and our classes are on Saturdays at 4:00 as well.
Excellent. I really encourage you guys to look him up online, look at Holistic Health Associates, try Tai Chi. And if you're far away, maybe you're watching this in Australia, remember about the principles we told you about today. And, what are we building with Polish Your Life? We are really building a network of people who collaborate together, because we have one major problem, and that is a lot of people go from doctor to doctor, they follow recommendations, and they still don't feel better and they don't improve. And we think we need to change it. We need to put more things in the mix. We are bringing you know, acupuncture, chiropractic, Tai Chi, medical world, holistic world all together. And I wish everybody all kinds of success. If you watch this video and you have any questions to Frank or Ryan or myself, comment below, share the video, and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube. We are wishing you a very good day. Thanks.